and today I'm going to be talking about the unfair bans on pit bull as a breed in various cities across America. I'm sure, just like me, many of you own one or more dogs, and they're probably your best friend. I actually wrote this speech while my dog, Bart, was sitting at my feet. According to a study from Statista.com, in the US alone, 89.7 million dogs are owned. While dogs are a very popular pet known for their unconditional love and joy, some breeds are labeled as aggressive killing machines. More specifically, pit bulls. Although they receive a bad reputation, pit bulls are just as sweet as any dog. Trying to enforce a specific ban against them is unfair. Not to mention a waste of resources, money, efforts, lost beloved animals, and will do nothing to discontinue abusers' reigns of terror. Despite what dog fighters and animal abusers think, it doesn't have to be a dog-eat-dog world. A pit bull owner himself, famous dog whisperer Cesar Millan, says in his book, "Humans create dogs to be red zone monsters." With the negative stigma that surrounds the pit bull breed, the dogs are blamed for the behavior rather than the owners. If the thought that just simply banning a breed will stop aggressiveness of dogs from spreading, no real progress will ever be made. From his article Redefining Monsters, Neville Herman knows, as do the rest of us, it's no secret that as far as breeds go, pit bulls have attracted a bad reputation from the public, and they can be known as unpredictable and dangerous. Beyond that stereotype, pit bulls are one of the most intelligent and gentle breeds if respectively trained. Stereotypes have always clouded the better judgment of people and continue to cause false beliefs about pit bulls. So what is the use of all this discrimination? Why pit bulls but not beagles? Why pit bulls but not Yorkies? The fact is, unless owners start getting rightfully blamed, it could easily be any breed. Not only are specific breed bans widely unjust, they're also a large waste of resources and efforts as they end up being ineffective. Taxpayer money is wasted on specific laws that do more harm than good. Opposition to these laws come from sources like the American Bar Association, animal rescue groups, the Center for Disease Control, and even former President Obama. Even the Humane Society of the United States has taken a stance against pit bull bans and ordinances, with studies that show these actions are short-sighted and ineffective responses, not long-term solutions for dealing with animals. Wasted money, wasted efforts, wasted resources. You can't deny that any time an emotional SPCH commercial comes on, it is heartbreaking to see all the abused and neglected dogs. The majority of these poor defensive dogs are pit bulls. There's no need to ban them and sentence them to this fate. There is a definite need to regulate the owners, not the pets. Damien Mann interviewed citizens in Medford, Oregon that agree that specifically pits are not the problem and that owners with aggressive animals should have punishments for their penalties. It's heartbreaking to know that over 3,497 pit bulls were euthanized between 2002 and 2009 as a result of Denver's pit bull ban, one of the many across American cities. With the right education and activism, we can end the mindset that an ineffective ban blaming a specific breed will fix these problems. Every day after school or work, people are greeted with the adoring faces and wagging tails of their furry best friends. If it was your dog being threatened in the city you live in, would you take action for your best friend? I want to thank you for listening, and I'll ask any questions you guys have at the time. Yes?
Have you ever owned a pit bull?
No, but my dog is like half pit bull. I found out recently because he's a mutt, and I did like a DNA test. I kind of like got into this topic after finding that out. Any more questions?
Yes. So was your inspiration from your own dog, or did you find inspiration from like other people's stories?
I had heard of it before, like back when I was in high school, and then after finding out more about him, I was like, how can you ban one dog? Like, he doesn't have any aggressive behaviors, and reading more stories about it. Like, I know Rachel Ray, she tried to travel once and she couldn't travel with the pit bulls, because I think she was trying to go to Denver and they wouldn't let her, so she didn't go, which is like ridiculous. Like, they don't do anything wrong. If they're trained the right way, like any dog, they're gonna be a good dog. Any more questions? Thank you so much for listening.